Well, I guess you could say there was a mystery to it. So maybe you wanted it to be a mystery.
I wonder where all these freedoms are these people talk about. I'll tell you, I don't see them. Everywhere you go, you got all these rules and regulations. That's where they always do that. They run that game on you. You start criticizing, all of a sudden they wave the flag in your face. You're supposed to shut up. My history goes way back. Being a misfit, an outcast, if you want to call it that, or outsider, I started on the road pretty early. 15 years old, I jumped the first freight train. I'd hitchhiked before that. A lot of misconceptions. Most people think hobo and they're thinking Depression years. They attached to that, but it went on and on and on out of the late 1800s. Now that was Jack London's time. I'm giving you a good history lesson.
I gotta go to Florida. And I ain't got no car, and I ain't got no airline ticket, and I gotta ride trains, and I gotta go visit people. And I had to sit there and go, oh Lord. And he gave me a can of chicken noodle soup. Asked me if I needed any money. Made sure I had a couple of dollars in my pocket. Off I went. 3 days later, saying, I'm here. He said, nobody goes that fast. Said, nobody's been that cold. Can't drink it if it's frozen. I got friends, got no leg, got no arm, got no toes. I've been cut off by the train.
Call me the Rabbi of the Rails. How I got that was back in 1974. I was traveling up the railroad tracks by Yakima, Washington. There was a man out there was going into the DTs, and I just happened to have a bottle of Manischewitz wine on me, and he was from New York. And I brought him out of the DTs with a Manischewitz wine. He said, from this day forward, you're going to be known as the Rabbi, because you're the only guy out here I know that'd be carrying anything other than Thunderbird or Mad Dog. Got to be nuts, or else either that or be Jewish. You know, that's how they call me the Rabbi from then on. So that's the way it is. We always put more coffee in there.
That every hobo has a moniker that rides the rails, because without a moniker, you never want to use your own name, you know. And different monikers fits different bows. Well, yeah, I was given the name Rotor Hog by some other bows along the tracks, because I'd be riding the units. And some of the bows would be jungling down the tracks. They'd say, well, there's Rotor Hog getting off again. See? So I kind of got that handle that way. See, that's a moniker. Other people, Itchy Foot Stetson. He's got that moniker because he likes to wear a Stetson hat and he's got itchy feet. Frisco Jack, another famous moniker. They call him Cardboard because he rides the grainers. He takes his cardboard and hops on the grainers and stuff like that.
Then you'd see people would steal somebody's name. I'm not going to mention any names, but there's a certain person who used to call himself a certain name, and he took it off a guy that rode in the east. A lot of these tramps and these hobos out here today, a lot of them are liars, man. They love to lie. And somebody say, well, I'm Overcoat Slim, or I'm Frenchy. So, you know Frenchy so-and-so person? The guy says, my name's Frenchy, before the conversation would end. All of the blackage, yeah. Dirty blackhead, and this blackhead, and that blackhead, goes on and on and on. A lot of people are asked their road name, all of a sudden they throw up a quick one real quick. They don't have one. They want to give it to somebody to get them off their back, they just tell you a name. Pretty soon they're stuck with it.
Like some of these younger bulls down here, now some of them are tramps, and some of them are dinglings and mission stiffs and all that, but part of my job as being an older, experienced bow is I want to teach them about their self-reliance and their self-confidence, about when they get to a town, that there ain't no shame in walking up to someone's door and say, hey, can I do a little work for you? Can I clean your yard up? Can I wash the windows? You know, all that stuff. You know, that makes them a top hobo, because they got their self-confidence and they got their self-reliance.
I did happen to catch the last Rock Island train that ran out of El Paso. That was 1976, the bicentennial year, when Rock Island went out of business. I was heading for Perryton, Texas. The man told me there's plenty of work there. And I caught the last Rock Island out of El Paso. He went 7 miles, stopped the train, came back there and put me up in the engines because they didn't know how far I was going to go before they derailed. That's how bad the tracks had gotten on the Rock Island. They took me into Liberal, Kansas, and I hitchhiked down to Perryton because that's the only way you can get into Perryton. And the mayor of the town that night, when I got into the hotel there, said, son, you came in this town, you was broke when you got here, but if you leave here broke, it's your own damn fault. Next day I had a job. I found out you gotta, wherever you go, you gotta keep your record clean,
I don't care whether you like it or not, but I'm gonna tell you right now, a hobo is not a bum. And don't you ever call one a bum around me, because I'll get in your eyeball. But I don't mean to really run a bum down. That's his way, and he got started at it. But there's a big difference, and maybe things has changed now. I don't know, but I know how they used to be.
That's a tramp. He'll come down to the jungle, he'll have a jungle fire going, but he won't pick a goddamn stick of wood to help cook the food. Where a hobo, he'll grab some wood and he'll help build a fire. He'll dig in his pockets, he'll pitch in, he'll work, he'll contribute. See, that's the difference. See? So the tramps, they ride the rails like we do. See, but they won't do shit. They won't do jack shit. See?
Come to party, come to play. Tramp rides out. Stood. You're down.
Great rock.
Part of the game. Here.
I'm back home again.
There you go. Old friend. Old friend.
Already done that, Josh.
Oh, sure.
No, that was
Let's go right.
I done it on the moon.
Here, let's go right. Come right.
To the right.
Start. Start.
To the brother.
Kiss Dungarere's ass. I'm going.
Let's go.
I don't know how they're going to be able to do it clear on into the future, because I'm telling you, it's tough out here now. See, the boxcars used to be all wooden floors, wooden walls. Pretty soon I can see it, the only way a man's gonna be able to ride, he's gonna have to be able to move fast. Like I can't carry a truck sack with a lot of food and stuff anymore because I'm ducking through them trains, ducking at night and climbing through. You can't carry all that stuff. You gotta be able to move fast and be able to hide. Sometimes at night you can do things you can't do in the daytime. Like you just hit the ditch and lay down and not move. You can drive right on by you. You're either gonna have to be light, be able to endure, drink as much water as you can before you get out there, have a little money on you, or carry compact candy bars, or sardines in a can, and an old big pocket thing. Insulated coveralls, a tough kind, because you may have to be sneaking up on top of things and just laying down and hanging tough in the wind. Nowadays you're outside a lot, you're on that cold metal. It gets hot in the summer too.
Lock and load. Lock and load. Let's take a little walk, see what we can find. Always the brotherhood. Man's walking. Here we go.
Those are the glory days. You could jump on those trains and ride a few yards with just your clothes on, hanging onto a ladder. You got off at the water tank of the next junction, you rested up, you caught another one coming through. There's so many coming through, they're coming through like subways, man. You see some of these trains you see today, you see all these grain cars. Now you just think a minute, years ago they hauled all that grain in boxcars. So that meant you saw a whole line of empty cars, man. Sometimes 20 tramps get on the train. They had 5 boxcars for each one of those tramps. You get in there, wood floors, wood thing, and they had that 1,000-mile paper wrapped around there to keep the dew and the rain out. You roll up in there, you could get in there with an old suit coat or an overcoat on and lay down, and you didn't have to have all this gear you got now. You're not sleeping on that metal. There used to be one of the best states to ride in was Montana, and that's all changed up there now. People respected you when you're out like that with a bedroll and everything. Yeah, they did it up there. Havre used to be like that. Stuff left in the jungles. Now I saw that, what year would that be? 74, 75. I actually saw them do that there. Those utensils and keeping that jungle clean and whatnot. Pretty soon people started getting sloppy. Started drinking too much. Didn't give a damn. But if you dig in and you go do some research on your own, you find out everything I've just told you is true.
Roseville. I can remember when this was a little bitty yard, man. Then they put the hump in down here. You know what a hump is. You know, if I were you, what I would do, it's pretty late in the afternoon. And you know that's about a 12-hour run to Reno. You're not going to see that much scenery. What you ought to do is find yourself a good place to camp here, stay the night, and catch one early in the morning. There's one that leaves about 8 o'clock in the morning. And that I mean, you know, like you can see all the mountains and, you know, the view. Well, okay, I've got a philosophy. Maybe I'm wrong, or maybe my philosophy's fucked up, okay? But there's 2 things I do not like, and these make me a bum. And that's responsibility and authority. I'm serious. I'll give you anything I got if you ask me for it. But you tell, or I'll do anything you want me to do. if you ask me to. But if you tell me I gotta do it, I don't know what it is, but there's something inside of me that says, fuck this motherfucker, man, you ain't gonna do it. You know what I mean? And I've been that way all my life. Even when I was a kid, I couldn't get along. Fuck. Oh, well, huh? I hear you calling, baby, but you ain't getting me. Not today, anyhow. This actually happened. I was living with a lady. I had lived with her for probably about 9 months. Fox, beautiful blonde, right? And we lived close to the railroad yards. Well, where we were, we could hear the freight trains at nighttime. And I used to hear them suckers after she went to sleep at nighttime, and I'd wonder where so-and-so was, what town he was in, who was on the track that I knew, you know what I mean? Who was cooking up a jungle stew and all that bullshit. So I just got tired of the shit.
Him and I got drunk one night. I never drink, but the one night I did.
Bozo, see, that used to be a nickname, and it was used a whole lot.
We just come over the hill. We'll be going into Cheyenne in about 10 minutes. That's Chuck, we're leaving the Spear. How you running? Main and change, Roger. Okay, Bozo Texino's, near as I can figure out, from what I've heard from people, he works out at Coors, the brewery in Golden, Colorado. And I first remember, the farthest back I can remember was in seeing a Bozo Texino 1978 on a car. He might have been around earlier, but that's when I first started seeing him, 1978.
Who's Bozo Texino?
I have no idea.
Bozo was a carman that quit smoking out of Lafayette, I believe, Lafayette, Louisiana. Whenever he wanted a cigarette, he'd draw a picture on the car, take his mind off smoking.
And we've got a Bozo here, but he just goes by Bozo. He's an engineer, and he doesn't autograph anything. Only engineer we got autographs anything is Mainline Mac, and he's pretty notorious.
Well, I know for a fact it was an engineer named John McKinley out of San Antonio, Texas, worked for the Missouri Pacific Railroad down there, and he'd drawn it for a number of years, also as Bozo Laredo before that.
A lot of people don't want to, you think, you know, they don't believe you when you tell them some of this stuff. You know, there's no use to lie about it.
Bozo Texino, he's a beau that rides that low line there, but I've seen his handle. But unfortunately, I've never had the pleasure of meeting him. I don't recall.
Who's Bozo Texino? I have no idea.
Oh yeah, he's from Houston, Texas. He signs his name on the side of the boxcars, but he's a railroad worker. He does the switching and hooks the air hoses together.
And I'm sure there's a story behind it, but Waterbed Lou is one I would really like to know. I'll bet you that is some kind of a story, because most all railroad men have nicknames. There's a reason behind it.
Damn it. Did you know Palm Tree Herbie, the Tramp? There's another person that knew Palm Tree Herbie, the Tramp. I believe that there was a tramp named Palm Tree Herbie because Catfish was raised by that West Coast blackie guy, and catfish don't lie, cheat, or steal, brother. And he told me about riding trains with Palm Tree Herbie.
Yeah, the little guy with a Mexican hat on, with the palm tree behind him. Don't see much of Herbie anymore. Herbie's getting old.
Hi, I'm Herbie Mayer. I used to do this drawing with a plain piece of chalk, but when it rained, why, it wouldn't be there the next time, so I started using a paint stick. They used to say I could do it in 30 seconds, but I think that's... Uh-oh. Should I change it? It's the 4th month.
Herbie, how long have you been doing these?
Well, Greta said about 37 years. I'll take that figure. It was 1957. I've drawn a lot of them, but not 700,000 like they claim I did. I'd have to spend all my time out in the yard. And I did work once in a while.
Do you know anything about Bozo Texino?
There's a story about that. When years and years ago, I used to actually see the original hobo, Bozo Texino. Oh, he's been dead a long time. He was an old, this is way back. All these you see now are not the real Bozo Texinos.
I ran into Beam Me Up Scotty. He would sign in like 1896 or 1897. What he meant by that was that he was born 100 years too late.
This smut up is Tommy Green.
Now, give him the significance of who Tommy Green was.
Who
he schooled.
He fucking schooled all of us. The original Roadhog USA, older guys like the Flying Dutchman. I'm trying to think. Cold Beer Butch, OK Crawdad, Mojave Don. He was one of the band of the hand. He was responsible for Dogman Tony, Catfish, Iwegian Rick. He kind of raised all those guys. You ever hear me say, I don't lie, cheat, or steal? That comes from Tommy Green. He coined that phrase. He didn't lie, cheat, or steal. And that's the kind of tramp that he was.
Well, I wish these new kids luck. I don't stand in the way and I don't criticize them. I guess they're a new breed, yeah? Somebody's gonna take these guys' place.
imagine she had it once before, but when she heard my banjo play, she dropped right on the floor. Get along home, Cindy, Cindy, get along home. We'll get on the train, Cindy, Cindy, I'll ride with you someday.
Out here is when I'm happy. When I get in society in the city, I'm miserable, man. But you gotta go for a little while, then you get back out here. Like it says in the Bible, to be absent from the body is to be present with God. To be absent from society is to be on a higher plane. You can't tell nobody about it. You can see the beauty, but you can't really describe it in words. Ain't this nice out here, man? Why can't they let a guy have a couple of acres of that land just laying out there doing nothing? They want you to work 35 years and then pay a price for it, and you only got 10 more years to live. That's cold, but the way things are set up, man, I don't even believe in this here. They say this country is based on hard work and integrity and worshiping God. That's a lie. This motherfucker is built on murder, man, mayhem, slavery, oppression, lying and stealing and killing. That's what it's based on. And you can't change it after it started. Just stay away from it. Try to get away from it. Be independent of it. Because if you try to deal in it, you become part of it. Stay away from it. You diminished it by one. By one.
My favorite trip was getting on a goddamn airplane, flying home out of goddamn Asia after 3 years being shot at.
About the roughest place I ever had to go through was Yuma, Arizona. Now that is a rough town. And I seen an old boy that the FTRA jumped on the goon squad. They beat him up bad now. We was all down at the bus down eating dinner by the old Yuma Territorial Prison. Boy come up and said he invited them into his camp, furnished the wine. They drank this wine and then they jumped on him and whooped him. And they'll rob it in a loop. That's what I heard.
I met the old man. The old man's dead. The old man died in Dubuque. John Easley is young Coltrane. The old man Coltrane is like dead, bone, buried.
Even if I don't get out, but ride me about 300 or 400 miles a year, at least I'm gonna keep the name going. And as far as I know, that's all he's doing is keeping the name going. Here comes something on the track. Look out. All right, on my last trip, I run up on the old boy. Well, I've been hearing about this John Easley, and seeing his name wrote all over their boxcars and all that shit. Well, I run up on an old boy, said that John Easley had stole his name, Coltrane, from an old black dude. He's about 80 years old. And this dude says that if he catches John Easley, he's gonna kill him because he ruined his name. The original Coltrane is supposed to be an old black man, 80 years old. And also this John Easley, he got in the run-in with the bull. And so he spray painted the old bull's truck with paint, screwed it all up. So the bull put a $1,000 bounty out on him. It took him a while to get him, but they caught him. I don't know if he's in prison or what.
Be my luck, we'll both end up in the clink. This is Mr. Coltrane. Some people call him the U.S. Scout. Some people call him a pothead. Think they'd be happy to get rid of some of these rust spots. And you can do this with soap and pencil too on jailhouse walls. He's on there. Till the car goes to the scrapyard. There was an old guy named Coltrane. He was an old black guy who lived in Spokane on the train tracks. And I'd spend a little bit of time, you know, on my way cross country between here and Montana, mainly just out to the coal countries to work in the summertime. And I used to sit out there with him and I'd say, hey, you don't mind if I use your name, do you? You know? And he says, not at all, because when he seen what I was drawing up there and writing Coltrane on there, he was all for me. They used to come through and hang out at that ice house, get their food stamps, double up, whatever they were doing, and hit the next train, gone. Back then, you still didn't have the card. Now everything's switched to a card. Them days are all gone too, man. They got that 666, man. It's moving in. That's what it's all about. It's 666 and that world government. So they're over there right where they need to get all that shit started at. That Babylon's supposed to be the capital of the world someday, and Saddam Hussein's already got the city built.
Since November 1971, I have been involved in a dubious activity of fixing images to the boxcars and other rolling stock of North American railroads.
Speed is the thing to get the maximum number during a working day. You might say it's an expression that they can't buy all of my time while I'm out here.
At first, approached desultorily. Incidentally, the process of drawing with wax crayons a character of comic proportions who began to take on the aspects of a legend in the fraternity of railroaders began to reveal the possibility of the ideas involved. So, viewing the railroad system as a network for distributing the image, it was pared down to a few simple lines for quick application and easy recognition.
I think now I should start to rap about the origin of this art form. This form of art writing started, I don't know when, but the one that got the attention was during the 30s, and he got some media attention. He signed it. It was just simply a gentleman signing his name, A.B. King, Esquire, and the media theorized that it must have been a hobo. They even picked up on a liquor ad as this name in a whiskey ad, celebration of the individual.
A new drawing was allowed to evolve with the most rapid automatic gesture possible for the design. To avoid the redundant commonness of the image, I began to put words, name, phrases, anecdote, titles, alter egos, etc. to the drawings. Considered a continuous project, altered each day with words helped keep me at it while adding to the idea of chance, as the randomness of freight car selection, destination, etc. was already inherent to the system.
Brush hogs is what everybody else on the railroad calls people from Gurdon, and they may be going to close down the line, and we may have to move on. So, endangered species. This ultra is Italian for other, and Franco Bole is Italian for postage stamps. So this is about the strike, and this is actually Latin for I am holding a wolf by the ears. That was just a big mistake of mine I'd rather not get into. This coal train is the same as person as this John Beasley, and I heard he was still in jail from spray painting a special agent's pickup truck. Bonnie Canson is a name assumed by a performance artist in New York City. He's actually a Hungarian, and his real name is István Kantor, and he wants everyone to assume this name.
Finally, the daily historification was ceased, and the true precise title, Colossus of Rhodes, accompanied the image. more self-portraits than Picasso or Rembrandt or Van Gogh or any of them out riding the rails. Have a lot larger audience than they ever had in their lifetime. Well, I would say he was at least a third or fourth generation graffiti artist. I'm not aware of his location now, but the original Bozo Texino was an engineer out in West Texas, and he made the infinity drawing for the hat brim and the oval for the crown and the face, and always captured Bozo Texino. So this been carrying on for at least 3 generations.
If you're looking for the Rambler, I would say check Beaumont, Texas.
All right, we got, let's see, the Rambler from Port of Beaumont. We got the Rambler from Nome. We've got the Rambler from Cotton Creek. We got the Rambler from Ames. We got the Rambler from China. I don't know if it's all the same person or not.
All right, you on film?
Yeah, we're on.
I got it from off of a sign in Seattle, Washington. And in Seattle, they have a mixed drink. You know, you can buy mixed drinks there. In Texas, you couldn't do it at the time. So I just happened to remember that. So when I came back, several years, it was like 6 years later, when I started drawing, we all drank Slits at the time out of long neck. So I couldn't draw one. I couldn't draw a damn long neck. It took me forever. So I just remembered that kind of a martini glass looking deal. And so I started doing that, and it just kind of, boom, fell into place. Yeah, I started doing it October of '68, and I'd moved back to Houston in May and was switching and had quite a bit of spare time down on the lead, so I just started doing it. I seen all them other things coming through, and I said, well, I want to figure out something, and that's what I come up with, and I've been doing that ever since. A lot of them guys would go on vacation, and they said, man, I see one of your damn drawings in Canada or Mexico or California, you know. So I thought, well, I'll never get there. I might as well send something.
last time I seen his name with a date was like 84, 85 or something like that. I ain't never seen anything beyond that. That son of a bitch probably got a whole goddamn half gallon of wine and a case of beer, and he's sitting on it. He ain't letting anybody know where it is.
Yeah.
That's probably what he's up to. When he gets tired of sitting on his butt, he'll come back again. But I never met him, but I see his signature. But last time I seen it was like in 85 or something like that. 4. Ain't nothing current. There's no current address on him. Ain't no current cars out there.
He could be hiding anywhere.
Yeah, I'm sure at different times people wonder, well, who marks it? What? And then they'll wonder why and all that other crap. Wonder why that damn fool spends time doing that when he could be doing something else. They would be right, you know. Why would a so-and-so waste that much time doing it? To me, it used to be if you mark a car, it's on both sides. And then here goes one of those bozos that's got it on both sides, so either side they can see it. It's silly to some people. I've run locomotive cranes, that was my main job, and switch engine. So I worked on a railroad per se, I guess that's the way you'd put it. It's just a stupid idea. I'm gonna keep my eyes closed. Are you ready?
Yeah, ready to go.
I got acquainted with it pretty young. I'm gonna say around 5. Of course, I was just learning. And like I said, my dad was pretty interested in the name, and it kind of stuck with me. But that was about 1919 or 1920. How bad is it? I guess that ain't too bad. I had one boss out there told me one time to quit marking them cars. Sure enough, I told him to go fly his damn kite, you know. In the years after that, now I don't know just when, but Mr. Mack, I believe his name was McKinley. Mr. Mack McKinley, I always said Mr. Mack. But he started a picture on and put Bozo Taxino under it. And I marked a jillion of them with that, because I copied him pretty good. Here's another copy of Bozo Taxino. Dennis from Houston, J.B. King, and then the Rose, Cut Eye, he marked quite a few of them. Rambler, Smithville, and then Herbie, old Herbie again, and then one of my favorites, Mournful Martin, Rambler, and then Hobro, marked quite a few, Waterbed Lou. Here's the Laredo Kid. Somebody was kind of using Bozo's hat. Here's a copy of old Herbie. Look how big that trunk of that tree is. Big apple. That took a lot of paint stick. Here's that bird again. And then the KKK, which I used to mark out if I had enough chalk or paint stick. And the Player of Houston. Kite Paste Kid. Gypsy Sphinx. Waterbed Lou. Here's another that's real art to me. That's all of them. Anyway, I used to keep track of how many I marked a year, but I can't remember any of them except where I went overboard and made a devil of a job out of it, and I got to where I didn't enjoy doing it, and that's when I marked a little over 30,000 in 1 year, and that kind of burnt me out on marking, because I there at the last I sure didn't enjoy doing it.